So this past weekend, which was the last weekend of May, we ended up going to my dad's and pulling the boat out of his pole barn that he let us store it in this past winter. If not, it would have been sitting outside under another cover that we got. But this is a 1985 Wellcraft V20 Fisherman center console with a closed transom and a Yam 154 stroke on the back. Also pulling it out, other than that, we also did a couple upgrades. Swapped out just the square V block here for a roller. I was having issues last year where the V block would just flip up and then potentially not hold the boat, and then so swapped that out. Took it out yesterday for the first time. This worked great. And as you can see here, this axle here we added. So I was having issues with the trailer not riding quite right. It was real light in the tongue, and also this trailer is a 1990, and from what I can tell is not made for this boat. And every other picture I see of this boat has tandem axles, so we put another axle underneath it. Originally, this axle here was about in line with the seats. Let's see if you can see. I don't think on this side you can see. Oh, yep, this bracket was originally here, I think. So we moved it quite a bit. So my dad had access to some boat trailers, so pulled an axle off one of them. Things didn't go quite as easy as just bolting it on as we thought. He had measured it before we had came and everything. We'd kind of planned this in advance, and it was 6 feet across, 72 inches. At some point, that 6 feet turned into 60 inches. So once we moved this axle back and got it bolted in and kind of squared up, we slid this one under, and obviously it was way too short. So we ended up cutting it in the middle here. So it was 2x3. Luckily he had some 3x3 angle that we ended up cutting, using it to keep it square, and then welding it. So we did an L shape this way and then an L shape that way, and then just kind of left this overhang. If we were on a little less of a tight time frame, probably would have cut it, made it look nice, but function over fit here. Then we painted it black. So that worked out pretty good, added an hour or so to our time. I guess I should say it. So what we ended up doing was cranking the front roller jack all the way up, putting some jack stands about right here, and then I guess before we cranked it up, we'd put some back here. So we put some back here to prevent it from, we put it all the way down to get this as high as possible, put jack stands underneath it, crank that up as high as possible, got jack stands underneath it, and it worked out pretty good. The reason it worked too was the original one was on tire dollies, so that was up another 3-4 inches on top of everything else. So we pulled the tire dollies out, and then we were able to move stuff around pretty easily. We initially had 2 U-bolts, but weren't a huge fan of it, so we ended up bolting this one. The other side we actually cut. I guess I forgot to cut this one, but we cut it just so it wasn't so long, because it's pretty close to the leaf spring. What we were worried about, we thought we were going to have to put this one in the front and this one in the rear. Because if you can see here, this leaf spring just kind of slides in the little channel here. But it clears. Barely, but it clears. These were the old tires. These were actually car radial tires, so you can see they're bulging pretty good. This was the new set of trailer radials that I got. And I have one other trailer radial as a spare, but I plan to get another one, swap these out, and then use these as spares. Another thing we added was these nice guide bunks, or guide poles. I think these were $165. Same ones my dad had. The reason we got these, a little beefier, and it had the angle in there. I think cheaper ones you can get for like $100. These were also the taller ones. I originally had it about 2.5 finger width from the boat, but when we launched the boat yesterday, kind of hard to see, but the front of the boat flares out pretty good, so ended up getting stuck right at the front. So we were able to pretty much push the boat out enough, and the poles bent. And then when I parked the trailer, since there was one other boat at the whole boat launch, I sat for a few minutes and undid those, slid them out, so when we brought the boat back on, it would actually go on the trailer. Another issue I have is I don't know if I'll be able to show this, but the boat moves around quite a bit on the trailer. So in the front, there's that single roller here, roller, but there's only one bunk. Currently I have a couple other set of brackets that I can put on that we got off the other trailer. So I'm going to put a single one here with a pad for this year, just with the boat on it as extra support. And then at some point when I can take the boat off the trailer, keep it in the water, I don't know, for a day or two, either make this bunk come all the way to here, or do another bunk from here to there, or another bunk out wide. I don't know, another bunk at least to get some extra support. Also would like to, since I don't know if you can see here, the boat, which it's a little bit on an angle here just because of how it's sitting, but all of the weight of the gas tank is under the center console. That's 60 gallons of fuel. And then the 500-pound motor hangs, I don't know, 3 feet off the back of the boat. So all our weight essentially is from the center console back. So what I'd like to do is raise the ass end of the boat up and kind of see if I can bring the whole boat like this, and potentially bring the nose a little bit down just to give it a little more tongue weight. And then it'll get this, even if it's just ½ inch, but a little bit lower from this roller. One of the trailers that we also had has a longer tongue. As you can see here, I'm right to the end. It was actually originally here, and last year I moved it up some so I could pull the boat up a little bit just to get a little more tongue weight. And when was it? We bought this boat last May over in, was it Lake Winnebago over in Wisconsin? So I had a 6-hour drive through the UP to pick this up. And let me tell you, on the highway, I'm trying to do 75 miles an hour. A few times it got a little squirrely, ass end started swinging around. So that was the first thing I did, was try and move that up. Now doing that, I got, a few inches of bunk that, since I can move it I will probably move this bunk up. I mean, this is kind of just wasted bunk to be sitting back there. So I'll slide that up when we have it off next time too. At the end of the year last year, we hit I should say I hit a deer on our last boat ride coming home with the truck. And it actually went underneath the trailer. Luckily didn't bend the axle. Bent this roller. You can see it's all cracked and everything now, so I got to replace that. Got to do some touch-up paint. The original owner made the step for his kids. It's wood. It's on both sides here, but obviously not very well thought out or done, but I guess it worked for his kids. I'd like to take that off and then do a little swim platform here and a ladder to get up. Currently, we have a ladder that goes over the side that's actually for a pool that hooks on and goes down. It's like 4 steps. Came with this real nice hydraulic jack plate, whale tail, nice stainless steel prop, but looking like, let's see if I can find it, or if we can even see it on video here. One of these has a small crack in it. Doesn't go all the way through, and it's just a little surface crack. Maybe right here. I don't know, I can't find it right now. But, which it ran all last year fine, because I know I didn't hit anything hard, so it obviously isn't an issue, but, you know, I would have liked to not seen that. Nice Garmin little GPS on it. Plan to get fenders. Right now I think I'm kind of in a legal gray area, because the rule is to have fenders so things don't spray back at the car behind them. And with having this one without the fender, I think the back fender and tire kind of block that. And I got the license plate in the right area and everything, so they can't harass me for that. But depending on the cop, if he wants to be a dick, he could technically give me a ticket for not having a fender for spray. And I'd like to get fenders so when rocks and things do flick up, it's not hitting the boat, obviously. I know the right way would do that would be to get a double fender, because this is actually a standard, I think 33 inches apart. It just happened to work out that way since we had butted it up perfectly to each other. But my dad's boat, his axle spread happened to be 33 inches, so I can get a double axle fender or tandem axle fender, but I don't really feel like spending the money for that. Obviously don't want it to look crappy, but at the same time I also don't want to spend a bunch of money, as you see, obviously the car's going pretty slow fund wise. So I got some plastic fenders that were on the old trailer, but they're in real rough shape. I got some oil drums and stuff. I could fabricate something out of those, which would probably just be a rounded one. I'd have to bend it out wider, but round it. Probably paint them a different color, but it'd look a little goofy with a more square fender and then a nice round fender. And probably wouldn't be able to step on this one, where these ones I use as a step to climb in the boat. But all things to come. There's a lot of other fiberglass holes and things I need to patch. Boats from 85. Things have been moved, a lot of holes in it. But instead of, always working on the boat and doing everything, we're just going to enjoy it. There are some few screws that are stripped. I'll fix those. But for now, it is what it is. So yeah, that was a little bit of an update. Haven't posted much with the car recently, since it's, hot out and being nice. A couple weekends ago I had a wedding. This weekend we went and did the boat. Got a wedding again coming up this weekend, which will be the last one I think for this summer, hopefully. So I should be able to work on the car some and get mocking up and tacking and welding the back half of the car in. So another video should be coming out soon, or at least recording, hopefully weekend. So what is this, 2nd of June? So this upcoming weekend I should be able to get some work done since it's supposed to be raining and I can't do yard work and all that BS.